Okay, for some reason, none of my videos have wanted to upload today, probably because it's windy as heck today where I am. I was trying to explain the transportation situation, which is my nightmare. So, to help me stay calm while I'm looking at one of my favorite things in the world. And that's this painting right here. It's probably my most prized possession that I own. So, onto the transportation issue. I have been a gurney patient ever since I got hurt back in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, it was a nightmare because a lot of places either couldn't accommodate my gurney or simply didn't want to, so they would turn me away. That was when I lived in a little tiny town called Perkins. It's a very small town. So after being completely rejected by Perkins, I ended up going back to my doctor in Guthrie. She's actually a physician's assistant. She might be a doctor now, I don't know. But when I was seeing her, she was a physician's assistant, and she worked under another doctor, but now she has her own place. And I will give her a shameless plug. The place is in Guthrie. It's on College Street, and it's called WellCare. And she's a very good doctor and will take excellent care of you if you need a doctor. She listens to you, and she's extremely compassionate. It's a faith-based practice, so it'd be great for somebody I know who works in Guthrie. So, yeah, pretty much, she's the only one who would accommodate me and my needs. But we ended up leaving Oklahoma because my insurance was just crummy and didn't cover things that I needed, like physical therapy and other kinds of therapy and equipment, and I couldn't get my equipment replaced after the fire. They absolutely refused, even though my stuff burned. I mean, some of these people, I know they're just sitting behind a keyboard, whatever, but they just seem completely void of compassion. They're just like, oh, well, sorry you lost your home and all your animals died, but we can't replace your equipment for you. So, pretty much. So, we ended up leaving Oklahoma to come back out here. I am from Oxnard, California. It's beautiful. It's by the beach. Like 5 minutes away from the beach is where I lived before. Now, I'm out here in the desert. It's called High Desert, California. It's like the cesspool of California to me. It's like Meth Head Central. It's ridiculous. But anyway, transportation. That's what I was talking about. It's been, when I first got here, of course, I was a gurney patient, and that went okay. They were on time, they sent plenty of people. Sometimes they would send a gurney that was a bit flimsy. So I started telling them that I'm a bigger person, a bigger guy, and I need a bigger gurney, heavier duty, and it was okay. Then the home health agency finally decided to pretty much ditch off a clunker wheelchair at my door. Didn't measure me for it, nothing. So my feet don't fit on the pedals, and they pretty much drag on the floor unless I try to lift them up to 2 inches or so that I can. My knees don't bend very well or at all, sometimes depending on situation. So ever since I became a regular transportation patient, or whatever the heck they call it, they have been sending the wrong vehicles to come and get me. One time they sent a car, and they said, oh, you could just, stand up and put the chair in the back. No. I'm completely non-ambulatory. I don't walk. I can't walk yet. So, that's not really an option for me. Then they send these, I guess they're SUVs or minivans or I don't know what the heck, with pull-out ramps. Last time it was a SUV type thing. And what happens is, my wheelchair is too wide for those types of vehicles. And it's just wide enough for the wheels themselves, the tires, to fit on the ramp. But the push rims that you grab onto to actually push yourself hang off the edge. So that means I'm completely useless. I can't help. And somebody has to shove me into said vehicle, and I get stuck in the doorway because the push rims don't fit, which means I get tilted and stuff just to shove me into the vehicle. There's not enough room to turn me facing front, so I can't really be tied down properly. It's just a mess. We did discover that the rear loading ramp is a bit more accommodating, and we have told them this since then, and they just don't listen. And we told them how big my chair is, what I need. They do have a vehicle, because I've been in it, after I sent their reject of a vehicle back to their company, that has an electric ramp, and it was awesome. He said that they use it to take the methadone patients and the kidney patients, mostly methadone, but yeah, whatever. So I've tried requesting that vehicle to no avail. And yesterday they sent a driver that has picked me up before, but he did have to shove me into his vehicle before too. But they sent him out. He wouldn't go down my driveway because last time he went down my driveway, he bottomed out and broke something on his vehicle. And this company is really crummy, and they don't take care of their employees. The employees have to have their own personal AAA, and they also have to pay out of pocket for all repairs. So he wasn't comfortable, understandably, going down our driveway to pick me up. And we have told them that that's another reason why we need a bigger vehicle. But they just don't listen, and they tried to blame me. They tried to say I'm not thorough enough with what I needed, which this last time I admit I wasn't. I have been sick for like a month with this virus from hell. And when I called, I didn't have a whole lot of air capacity. Plus, she wasn't really listening to what I was saying. You can tell when you're on a phone with somebody if they're actually listening to you or not. She also didn't acknowledge a word that I said. So, all I told her was, I need the biggest vehicle you have because my chair does not fit. To me, that should suffice. That tells you I have a big chair, I need a big vehicle. But they decided to try to blame me this time. But if they look back at all my 10,000 other phone calls and my mom and I have made to this company, we are extremely thorough. They have absolutely no record of any of my details that I've given in the past in their computer. So this is a bit of the transportation disaster that we are dealing with. I'm anxious enough already on my appointment days, just because, for different reasons for each doctor, but for my therapist, it's mainly because of transportation, and that I've been hurt every time that I get into these vehicles. The last time I almost passed out, and the time before that, I got stuck in the vehicle. The back door wouldn't open, so the driver had to call their own personal AAA, and they came out and they couldn't get the door open. So we had to call the fire department, and meanwhile, the driver is on the phone with the owner of the vehicle, and he's more worried about his door not being broken. So the fire department is trying to open it without breaking his precious door. Meanwhile, I'm in the back in excruciating pain, crying my eyes out with no shame whatsoever. And finally they said we have to get him out. And I had been stuck in there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And they finally just broke the door and got me out. These are the nightmares that I'm dealing with transportation. And this is not okay. Finally, while I was trying to resolve it and trying to make it to my appointment, I contacted my therapist receptionist, and I guess she wasn't working that day, but I had no clue because she was still talking to me, just like it was cool that I was talking to her. So if I had known it was like her day off or whatever, I would have just said sorry I bothered you. But she was talking to me and asking me if I was okay and what's wrong, and I was explaining to her. So she's going to help me by making a call to my insurance and to the transportation company and see if between all of us we can get some of this better, between this company, or find me another company that actually cares if I get there in one piece or not. So that's the deal with transportation, you guys. I'll have another video for you maybe tomorrow. These things really help me. It gives me an outlet, so I appreciate you guys watching. And show me some love, would you please, because I've been feeling really, really down about all this. And I'm sunburned all to hell. I'm just like, I just need some love, man. I don't see anybody. I'm lonely. So, just thank you guys for everything. I know that you probably aren't aware of how much you impact my life, but you do. And you make a huge difference in my life. Just by writing to me or commenting on my Facebook, or I really enjoy it. It makes me feel not so alone. So thank you guys very much. And I will talk to you soon.